Today's I don't know what do you call it, version, or today's flipping heck, my brain's not thinking anyway. Marketing versus sales. That's what we're talking today. We're talking marketing versus sales, and I have in studio with me a good friend of mine, a business partner, and one of our trainers, Delean Pretorius. Delean, welcome. Why don't you just tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Thanks, Barry. Yeah, my name is Delean, as Barry said, and I'm part of the Uncovering Greatness team. And what we do is we help businesses and people to find more customers, understand who they are, to help customers to get to know, like, and trust them that they can do business with them. So we set them up to do more business.
Okay, good. How many of you think you could do with finding some more customers? Yeah, one of the things that I learned, and I learned this from Peter Drucker, is Drucker says this. He says, "What's the purpose of a business?" And often, and Dylan, you've heard me ask this in my seminars. Often in my seminars, I'll ask the people in the seminar, "What is the purpose of a business?" And guess what the number one response is? You've heard it. What is it?
Yep, to make money.
To make money. That's what many people say. And truth be told, that's what I used to think. And then I listened to and studied a little bit of stuff by Peter Drucker. Those of you that don't know who Peter Drucker is known as the father of modern management. And Drucker said this. He said, the goal of a business is to make money. The purpose of a business is to find and keep customers. So that leads us into what's the difference between marketing and sales. So you're the marketing guru. What is marketing?
That's a great question, Barry. Yeah, I think we often get that question, what's the difference between marketing and sales? And so how we define it is very, very simple. So if you look at the 6-step sales cycle that Barry teaches, that you teach and that you've done with various different businesses, there's 6 easy steps to follow in that sales cycle. And essentially the first one is find customers with money. So find the right customers. So where marketing plays the biggest role is how do you find those customers?
Okay, good.
And how do you start to understand who they are and get into their world? That's where marketing plays the heaviest. And it starts to go down in importance when you start to approach and contact those customers at the second step. So that's
okay,
what marketing is.
So Dylan, it talks about 6 steps. So in the sales cycle, we teach 6 steps. Step number 1, find customers with money. Step number 2, approach and contact. Step number 3, pitch and present. Step number 4, take them from a no to a yes, which is the art of handling objections. Step number 5, close, get the money in the bank. Step number 6, follow up, drive referrals and testimonials. And that takes you all the way back to the top of the sales cycle. Those 2 steps are essentially when I talk about the sales cycle, when I teach the sales cycle, those 2 steps, as Delean says, is really where marketing comes in. Finding customers is that's marketing. That's understanding your target market. That's understanding your avatar. That's understanding the language that you need to speak in order to attract those customers. And then the second step in the sales cycle is approach and contact. And that's where I believe marketing and sales interact. So the 2 simplest ways to go and approach and contact are what?
Knock on doors.
Knock on doors and
pick up the phone.
Pick up the phone. Okay. So knock on doors and pick up the phone. So often when I'm teaching entrepreneurs, working with sales teams, and one of the things that I teach around sales is teach and equip people to do those type of things.
Absolutely.
So that would be sales. It's also marketing, because if you have no customers, well, get off your butt and go knock on some doors and meet some people, start driving some potential momentum into your business. But it's important to know that you're knocking on the right people. It's that you're knocking on the right doors.
For sure.
And in that piece of approach and contact, there's also many, many ways that you can market. Give us some other ways. So knocking on doors, picking up the phone are 2 ways to market. They're essentially 2 very sales driven ways to drive those leads into your business. What are some other ways?
Absolutely. Yeah, Barry, there's loads of other ways that you can follow. So what we advise is go and have a look at your customer first before you pick. So the pick is very wide. It's like, what are you doing on Facebook?
Okay, so let's go through. Give me what are some of the core ways that people can market in this day and age?
Sure. So it's social media.
Okay, good. So social media is a big thing, yes?
Very wide, absolutely,
okay.
100%. So it would be Facebook, Instagram, it would be LinkedIn, different avenues on there. Then one of the most tried and tested ones, if you do it correctly, is email
Okay.
marketing. It's been around for the longest period of time and it doesn't cost you a lot.
Okay, good.
And then there's things like podcasts, like what we're doing right now, educating customers. There's things like on your website, do you have a little bot that pops up where you can start to communicate and interact
Well,
with people?
your website is a form of marketing.
Your
isn't it?
website is absolutely,
Okay, good.
yes.
So online stuff, websites, those type of
Absolutely.
things, landing pages.
100%,
Okay, good.
yes. There's various different things, landing pages, squeeze pages, all sorts of different things in the online space.
Okay, good.
And then there's also things like where you need deep pockets like television, radio. There's loads of radio stations now available that's like little online stations where you can get in and start to get very close to your community. So those are very valuable sources
Okay, good.
for education. And then there's also things like, if you think about the more traditional space.
Yeah.
So there's billboards, there's street pole ads that you can have a look at. There's still the little newspaper ad. Those are not things necessarily that a lot of people do, or exhibitions where you can have a stand, where you can tell more people about you. So print media still has a good place when you're talking to the right person at the right spot.
Okay, good. So what I'm hearing, and I don't know if you guys are getting that, there are hundreds of ways to market. What's the right way?
That's a brilliant question. Yeah. The right way, Barry, is, in our opinion, is to stop everything and just take a time out and say, let me look at my customer first. Who is this customer? Who's the target market that I'm speaking to? And where do they move? Where are they? If you pick a way that is not going to speak to your market where they are, you're wasting your money. So the right way is pick one or two to start with, and make sure that you speak to them, that they can see you or hear you where you're at, and then of course speak the right language when you're there.
Okay, good. So it starts right at the top, is understanding who those customers are, how they think, where they come from, what's their demographic, what's their earning power, their earning potential, all those type of things. So it's really getting an understanding of your in modern marketing terms they call it an avatar. When I was starting out in business, we used to call it your ideal customer profile. And so you really understand who that customer is. In your experience and the clients that you've worked with over the years, how many of them really understand their customer?
So very little. About 5% of people understand their customer. When we start to speak to them, they say, we understand our customer, we know how old they are, we know where they live. When we really start to drill deep into it, then we go into how those people think, what are their irritation points or frustration, as we call it, pain points. They don't have a clue. So very few. To give you an example, tell you of one of the clients that we worked with recently is they in the pharmaceutical game for years and years they're servicing people, and when we really started to look, they don't understand their customer. We stopped, we took them through a whole process, and now it's starting to make sense to them. They even now going to their customers and getting more of their physical examples, so they're not making it up in their own heads. They're now moving to the customer and saying, are we understanding you correctly?
Very good, very good. So I'm not going to get deep into this, or what are the fundamentals of finding customers, because in the next series of podcasts that I do, we're going to be talking about, the 5 keys to attracting the right customer, and what are 5 key tips that you can give us and give the community and entrepreneurial hangout around that. So let's go back to what we're really talking about, which is this whole idea of marketing versus sales. When I grew up in sales, I'm a salesman. That's what I've always done. And I've been in sales for 27 years. I deemed to be pretty good at selling, and I just know that over the years in my business, my one weakness has always been marketing. I have Sully here sitting recording this, and he's sitting nodding his head, and I can see his brain going, no shit. But I'm honest about that, and one of the reasons is because I've always been able to sell. So I come out of that background. So I see 2 things in business today, and sadly, what I see with many people is they don't sell. They think that marketing is going to fix everything for them. So I watch people that focus on throwing tons and tons of time, effort, and energy at marketing, and sometimes lots of money. and they're either not creating the right message, or they're not creating the right customer base, or they're not bringing in the right people. And when they do bring them in, many of them struggle to close. So the question I asked was the difference between marketing versus sales. The reality is they come from the same family, don't they?
100%, they do. Yeah, they work together, and it's like working on a team, Barry. It's two parts of your team: the sales part and the marketing part. Are you leveraging both? How are you driving them together? That the voice, the marketing is the same thing as what you're delivering with sales.
Yeah.
That's where magic happens.
I look at it like this in my household. I have an incredible wife, and I saw it in the last week. She was away for a week teaching a seminar. She specializes in teaching people how to become unstuck and pull themselves out of their own way. And she was doing the seminar, and she was away for 7 days. It's a 7-day seminar that she has with clients that she was teaching. And I realized that, sure, I ran the household and I went to work and I did what I had to do, but I was missing a significant component in my relationship and in our sales cycle, if you wanted, is that for want of other words, I'm in sales, she's in marketing, and our household runs really well when the two of us are working together. We both have different skills, different gifts. But when we're running together and we're feeding each other, we work really, really well, and we create the results that we really want. Without her, I was out there on my own doing my stuff, and I missed that. So I look at sales and marketing as, for example, as part of the same family. As a husband and wife, for example, is that you work in sync together. You have roles, and you work together with the same common goal. And so it's really, really important that you understand that you get these two things working together. You have to become good at selling. Look, this is what I've learned, is you can build a business without doing a lot of marketing if you get out and you're good at communicating and selling. But in order to take your business and expand it, you need to expand marketing, because you need to fill that top of the funnel.
Yeah.
Okay, but on the other hand, you can fill the top of the funnel, but if you suck at being able to sell and you can't close, that's a problem, isn't it?
Huge problem, because then you're paying and money goes down the drain. That's literally what happens. Got a lot of things happening. So we always say you speak to a lot of people, you do a lot of stuff at the top of the funnel, but you get no results at the bottom. And that's what we see. People start to get frustrated, and then a lot of people say this stuff doesn't work. It just doesn't work. But it's about, as you say, your ability to sell and understanding how to let those two things work together, marketing and sales. Yeah, and create results at the end of the day.
Very good. So what I'm hearing, it's the ability to attract the right clients, to be able to get in front of them, to communicate, find out what they really need, to give them what they really need, and to be able to take them through that process that generates a business.
For sure. It's about moving them down that sales cycle, down that funnel, and helping them to get to a close, to bring money to you. And then obviously, as you always teach, bring them down from the follow-up, bring them down and up again, so that you get more customers from them. So that's also part of marketing.
Well, more important to me is not the money, it's the value that I add to the clients.
100%.
Because I just know this, that when I add value to clients, the money will flow. When I don't add value, it's about taking people through that sales cycle in order to generate income. And income's not only about money. So, Delia, thank you for joining me today on Entrepreneurial Hangout. It was great. And I hope you guys get that distinction between marketing and sales. You've got to be able to do both. If you're building a business and you want to grow that business, marketing and sales are part of the same family. They work hand in hand. How good are you at marketing? How good are you at selling? Can you attract the right people and take them through that sales cycle? So thank you for joining me and Delia on Entrepreneurial Hangout. Looking forward to having you in our next session. And the next time I speak to Delia, and we're going to be talking about 5 keys to attracting the right customers. 5 keys to attracting the right customers. So be awesome. Remember, you have greatness within. Uncover it and uncover that greatness in others. See you soon.